It was good. We went a little longer and a little better energy than we have on a normal Sunday because we didn't play yesterday. So it was good to try to get a little bit of a jump start on the week. The guys had 2 days off, so we knocked some of the rust from that off. But I thought we were bouncing around. I thought we were fresh. And so it was good to get a little bit longer and extended practice today and get ready for the week.
Were you pleased with, the bye week? Or do you feel like you accomplished what you wanted to?
I think so. We got a lot of work with the guys that needed it, that were healthy, and the guys that were banged up after 6 games. We were able to be as smart as we could with them. And so, for this point in the season, 6 games in, I think we're in decent shape, for the stretch run. And so now it's just a matter of having a really good week, getting ready to go.
Just said specifically that was in the 4th week for Stanton and Payne.
Absolutely. Good. They got a ton of reps, obviously, and Cam's continuing to get better. Freshman, I thought he did some good things last game. Stanton has shown just a lot of explosiveness, and so he's getting more and more comfortable the more times he reps at the position, and so it was good for not only them to get the reps, but for the quarterbacks to get reps with them on a lot of the things that has to do with just being on the same page. He was out there, yeah. All the guys were out there, and he was moving around. He ran the ball some, caught some balls, so it was good to see him out there moving around.
We're getting to the point in the season where Sean is starting to play teams, obviously, he played last year and had success. And can he take anything from the film that he watches, like last year at Arkansas, or when they played Ole Miss the whole week last year?
Yeah. Yeah, we've watched the film obviously from last year. Sean has as well, and sees some plays that we missed and some things we did well, and there's a lot of familiarity. Rob has been there and he does a really good job at what they do. So he's very familiar with us, and we played him now. This will be, I guess, the 3rd year since he's been there, 4th year with Bielema, and they do a really good job. And they do a good job defensively, making you earn everything you get, making you execute. You look at like last night. Ole Miss, they still had some big plays, but didn't have near the number of big plays they normally have. And that's a credit to their defense, making you earn everything and out-execute them. And that's hard to do, but that's what they make you do. So it's been good for them to kind of see that and just see that we got to be on top of our game if we want to move the ball against them.
What were the reps like with the offensive line? Or was Xavier back to the first team, or is it still Austin and Darius left tackle?
We're doing like we do every week. We're mixing and matching guys for scenarios that could come up. I think he's getting closer to 100%. I don't know if he's 100% right there. I don't know if anybody is at this point in the year, to be honest with you. But he's better. He's moving around pretty good. And so, we feel like we got all those guys ready to roll however we need to do it.
What is Jason Smith's position at this point?
He's still playing some receiver. He's comfortable. He played quarterback in high school. Obviously, we recruited him initially to do that. So he kind of gets some reps there, too, in case needed. But he's just an athlete weapon for us.
I know he's dealing with some injuries, but just where was Marcus Davis these last couple of games, and where is he at now?
I think Marcus is the healthiest he's been, knock on wood, since the season started. He's been playing with his hand taped up and splinted up, and I think that's probably why you saw him drop a couple balls earlier in the year that he doesn't normally drop. I think he's going to be out of that and be full speed now, though. So Marcus is a guy, once again, that the numbers may not be where he would want them or where you'd want him as a senior wideout, but I think he's proven over the course of his career here he can make big plays when we need them. And, for us to win some of these games down the stretch, particularly on the road, but even big games like this at home, we're going to need guys like him to step up. He'll get his opportunities, and I believe he'll make the most of it.
Last year when you played Arkansas, drops were a big concern, especially there late.
Yeah.
Haven't had as many drops this year as you did
right.
last year. What's been the key to that kind of success in catching the ball?
Yeah, well, I think it kind of comes with the job description at wideout. We got to catch the ball, and they've done a good job of really focusing on it. We've, I'd say back in the summer on their own, all fall camp, those guys have been on the jugs machine probably more than we ever have. And at the end of the day, it wasn't just drops. It was as whole. Again, Arkansas, they do a great job making you execute. And if you're off just a hair, it's tough. And, they did a good job last year. Credit them for keeping us from executing at the level we needed to win the football game. And so that's our challenge this week is, they are what they are on defense. We are what we are on offense. I think both sides know that to a large degree. And so it's going to be who plays the best and executes the best. And catching the football is part of that.
Rhett, how confident are you that Carolina will be ready to go?
I feel pretty good. Like I said, I got to see him move around today. It's a day-to-day thing, but after today, I feel like he's got a shot. And just knowing the kid like I do, we'll see as the week goes on, but I'm optimistic still.
Is it starting to take the personal nature of the game this series away with the number of years you keep playing them, right? And
Yeah.
does that start to dissipate, or because of just the inherent nature of it, does it still just kind of stick there?
Well, obviously that's where I'm from. We got some other coaches. It's the same thing, and after you play them for a while, that goes away to some degree. It just so happens to be. It seems to be a fairly pivotal game every year for us, and it's been a pretty competitive game every year. I've been on both sides. Obviously, that's where I went to school. That's where I played. I know the culture there, and in Arkansas, they take great pride in being tough and playing hard and just being scrappy and gritty, and that's what they are. That's what they were when I played. That's what we took pride in there. And you look at Auburn, that's something we take great pride in is, being tough, being physical, and just playing extremely, extremely hard. So when you look at it from that degree, the programs both believe in a lot of the same things. I think that's why the series is usually really competitive. It just so happens last year it was a pivotal game for us, and we didn't find a way to win. They did, and I think the way the season's kind of ended maybe had a lot to do with that. We kind of started going the wrong direction. So we're in a similar situation this year, and we got to try to do better this time around.
Did you watch the game last night?
I watched parts of it. Yeah, I did. I mean, I watched a good deal of it. I had one 6-year-old giving me commentary and had the other one wanting to play Legos. So
That's what I was going to ask. When you do it as a coach, or do you do it as just somebody sitting there watching?
I try to watch it from a different view when it's on TV. We swap films, so today they've got our games, we got their games. You can rewind it and do all that all you want now. But sometimes just from the TV perspective and just kind of that feel of the game, it's different to step back and watch it from that perspective and just kind of see. And again, you saw what you thought you'd see, a team that played with great passion and energy, and they found a way to get a big-time win, so which didn't shock me.
That was obviously the game we kind of saw Sean White be the type of quarterback that he could
Yeah.
be. We always want to talk about revenge in games like this, but the way that game ended, is there any motivation there, you think, for your offense?
Well, there's no more added motivation. We obviously, again, and like I said, give them credit. We didn't execute to the level in the areas we needed to win that football game, and they had a lot to do with that. So from that standpoint, yeah, we need to kind of redeem ourselves to some degree, but it was the same thing. We played Mississippi State last year, and they got us beat. We didn't feel any different going to Starkville. We knew it was going to be a great challenge at their place. So the things that happened last year really don't matter this year. Now you're human. You think about it, hey, they beat us last year. Okay, well, you could have said the same thing for them the year before. And, Sean, the one thing Sean did last year, I think that helped him grow a little bit was that 2-minute drive. We're down by 3, got 57 seconds to go. We even had a penalty, got a 10-second runoff, and hits 2 big passes to get us in range to kick the field goal. And then, in overtime, we score a little bit here. And so that was kind of, I think, when he grew up a little bit in pressure situations. And that's when you knew that the moment's not going to be too big for him. But at the end of the day, we didn't close out the game and win the game. So it was kind of all for naught a little bit to some degree.
How do you feel about Tony Stevens and his development? He's a senior.
Right.
Just this season, knowing that he's going to be getting the ball more often than
yeah. He's improved. He's more consistent. There's still, a ball here or there he's got to make the play on. But, like last week, what I was really proud of is the way he responded. And he's a guy that you see him gaining more confidence each week. And so I think so far he's doing a solid job for us.
Not to take anything away from Tony Rhett, but how much of that do you attribute to what is asked of that position in this offense, to what his production is versus what Tony is doing, what his capabilities are allowing? Just because that position has obviously produced the most yards and
Right.
receivers every year. So.
Right. I understand the question, but at the end of the day, he's got to go make the plays. So, and I think he's doing that more so than he has in the past. And that's a position he's played before too. So we have moved him around over time, but he's familiar with the position. And, again, is he as consistent as he'd want to be? No, but he's more consistent now than he's ever been in his career. And that's what's, again, I think I saw the stat. He's made a lot of big, first down catches, touchdown catches, situationally specific catches that have been big for us. And those things are going to need to continue and maybe even raise their level for us to do well down the stretch this second half.
I know a big emphasis was red zone touchdowns and really when you start getting those.
Yeah.
But is there a part in drives where Sean's been really efficient from a turnover standpoint, at least through the air, where, you know, you get past the 40 and you go, okay, we got 3, or is that a defeatist attitude in your mind?
Well, yeah, you don't think of it. I don't think, oh, we got points, let's get conservative, if that's what you're saying. You got to play aggressive and trust your guys to make plays and protect the ball. And that's one thing that we've really focused on this last week and now this week. For us to play well in the second half with the schedule we have, we've got to cut down on the turnovers. That's one area we haven't been as good as we need to be. You know, we're getting at least 1 a game, and some instances like last game 2, and sometimes even the situations we're putting our defense in, we just can't do that. So the turnover margin's got to improve, and that starts with us on offense protecting the football. And we haven't had a clean game yet there. But I will say that it gives you confidence knowing who our kicker is. You know, that if we get inside the 40, we do have a very good realistic chance of getting points. But we also know that we need to score touchdowns to win games. So it doesn't change the mindset of how we call the plays, but obviously we got confidence in Daniel big time.
How do you feel about the term game manager? It's looked at as like that great backhanded compliment.
Right.
And I don't know if you talked about Sean managing the game, but when he goes out there, I think he had 11 first down passes in the last game. A lot of people look at that and say it's more than just merely managing. So just how do you look at that term? How do you kind of view it? How does it apply to Sean?
Yeah, I've never been a huge fan of the game manager term. I want a guy to go win a game. Okay, but to be able to win a game, you have to first be able to manage a game. So I think when Coach says that, he's just saying, hey, he is managing the game well from an efficiency standpoint, completion percentage, accuracy, decision-making. He's doing all, you know, for the most part from a turnover standpoint, he's doing all those things you need a guy to do to give your team a chance to win. If you manage the game properly, you're going to have a chance to win the game in most cases. But we have to make plays to win the game. And like to your point, I don't think that Coach would say we want just a game manager. He has to manage the game, but we want a guy that can go out there and win the game for us. And I think he's proven that he has that ability. It's not just on him. It's all the guys around him. So I think they kind of go hand in hand. You got to be able to manage it before you can win it, you know. So it kind of goes together a little bit.
What's the thing you've seen him improve on the most from the start of the season?
You know, I think he's gotten really, really comfortable, and he's playing with a lot of confidence. And so it's hard to maybe put on one. His base and his footwork's getting better. I think that's why his accuracy's improving. You know, he has a tendency to fall off of throws and whatnot. And to some degree, that's a strength because he can make throws in tight windows when he doesn't have a lot of space in the pocket. And sometimes you have to do that as quarterback, but some easy throws have escaped him at times because he's just a little off balance. But when he's on balance, he's pretty accurate, and I think he's been better. He's really focused on it these last 2 or 3 games. I think that's why his completion percentage has gone up. So I think he's just playing with really good confidence right now.
Rhett, what has been the difference with just the blocking? Because the first 3 games, you guys were dead last in negative plays.
Yeah.
And the last 3 games, I think you guys are ranked 3rd or 4th in the SEC in negative plays allowed. I'm sure there's been tweaks and everything. Is it more inside zone? Are you guys not going right as much? The offensive line?
I think it's probably a combination of all. We still got to get ball in the perimeter and get yards that way, and I think we have been. We've kind of learned our guys a little bit and what maybe we can and can't do, and we've probably been able to, I don't want to say simplify because we still have our whole playbook, but you know, we've tried to be able to simplify game plans knowing what we're good at and rep those maybe more so. So is where maybe those first few games we were running some plays that maybe we didn't have the reps built up as much as we do on some of the stuff we're doing now. And so that helps you just execute better. And that's what we focused on. If you execute better, and then, you know, we've tried to put them in better situations too to where those negative plays aren't as likely. I think it's probably a combination of the two. But that's been big because we haven't gone backwards as much from either a penalty standpoint or a negative standpoint in plays. And that's allowed us to stay on the field longer periods of time, obviously.
How's Jason Smith handling, you know, not playing a lot, but also, as you said, he's getting some reps at quarterback.
Right.
So it's almost like he's in a position where he might not even get to play quarterback, obviously, but also he's having trouble getting
right. You know, he's been good, especially the last couple of weeks. He's had a really good attitude, and he's been good, and he gives us great versatility.
What stands out most about Arkansas's defense?
Well, again, I think they take on Rob's personality. He's a real tough. They're consistent. They're tough, and again, they make you earn everything. There's just not a lot of big plays. You can tell they play a scheme that allows them to know where their strengths are and where their weaknesses are, and so they know where you're going to try to attack them. And they do a really, really good job defending those areas. But I just think you look at last night, you have a team that has been playing probably as good offensive football as anybody in the country in Ole Miss. And they hold them to their, I know it was their fewest number of points, I believe. And if it wasn't, it was close in yards. And again, did they force a lot of 3-and-outs? No. But they were getting off the field when it mattered. And they were just relentlessly coming at them. And you could just tell it wears on an offense when you have to execute over a course of a game that consistently. It's hard. It doesn't matter how good you are. And so I think they do a really good job of keeping you away from the big play, making you earn everything, and then when you do make a mistake, they capitalize on it. And they play extremely hard.
Arkansas owned time of possession last night. They had like 40 minutes.
Right.
Does that concern you? I mean, obviously you have no control of that. But, you know, you're not a defensive coach, but
Yeah.
knowing that maybe you have to get the most out of every single play because Arkansas has a tendency to
Yeah,
dominate.
it concerns you a little bit because we do control it to some degree, and that we've got to keep the ball some. So about the only time you're okay with not having great time of possession if you have big explosive touchdown plays.
Ole Miss did.
You know, and to the flip side of that, if you're scoring, you're always going to take that. But it does put your defense back on the field, and so, you know, it goes hand in hand. Our defense is going to try to get off the field. When we get the ball, though, you do know that the way they are playing offensively, and they're playing really good offensive football, you know, if you don't take advantage of every possession, you may lose a possession or two in the game. And so it goes back to they make you earn everything, and you got to be extremely efficient to beat them. And that's their game plan. They're really good at it.
Brett, when it comes to Alex play, I mean, do you feel like at this point is he playing better than he was in 2013? Has he finally got back to that level of?
You're talking about Kozan? Yeah, I think to some degree he's as steady as he was then. He's healthy. I think that plays a big part. You know, he was able to play last year, but from a strength standpoint, he wasn't what he had been. And he's been a really good leader for us, especially playing amongst, you know, whether it's Darius, Austin, and X, he's over there. You know, he brings some consistency to that side, and he's been really solid for us.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
All right.